very much, sir. I didn't come to make a speech, but let me just tell you that I inquired about this veteran housing project you mentioned to see whether or not the VA had any opportunity, and Mr. Pond's comment was, we don't want you involved because you just mess it up. This is our project. We will decide how to put it together, which I think is wonderful that we have that kind of civic sense of responsibility. Sergeant Major, great to see you.
Good to see you, sir.
Congratulations, welcome home. And it's just a great reminder that in our military we have great young men and women serving and representing all of our communities, and your community is represented by Sergeant Major here. I would tell you that I spent 38 years in the Army and did fairly well in that profession. But it wasn't until about halfway through that career, I was serving in Germany, and it was still the Cold War Germany. I see some head nods, so there's some folks who remember. And there was a time when those of us who were in uniform in Germany lived on a 2-hour shoestring. We had a requirement, if you were a commander, you had to have 90% of your unit recalled and ready to deploy in the first hour, and by the second hour you had to have 100% of your unit recalled and ready to move. And if you couldn't do that, you weren't going to be the commander very long. So we lived out of duffel bags. I had a duffel bag always packed in my vehicle, and I had a duffel bag at home that I lived out of, you know. I don't think I had I didn't have much clothing in the drawers in my, you know, in the bedroom. All that stuff was in the duffel bag. That's the way we lived. I went to a ceremony, a Memorial Day ceremony at one point, and again, I was a commander, so I was fairly well along in my career. And I heard a senior Army general make a speech, Memorial Day speech. And he used a quotation, and I've used it in speeches myself, and I'll just repeat it for you. What he said was, I know that when I die, I will die a free man. On my feet, not on my knees, with my head up, and not bow to anyone. I know that when I die, I will die a free man. You know, and it struck me then, I was a commander of an American unit. I was a lieutenant colonel commanding a squadron. It struck me then that you know, I'd been taking my citizenship for granted. You see, I could say the same thing. I know that when I die, I will die a free man. On my feet, not on my knees, my head up. It's something all of us as Americans can say. That's one thing we all share in common. And because we share that in common, we can bequeath that to our children, and have, and to our grandchildren. My grandchildren can make the same emphatic statement about how they will live their lives in this country. And for those of us in uniform, for those of you older veterans, we've all served in those other areas, those alternatives to our way of life. And that's what makes living in this country pretty special. You don't have to give us a civics lesson about what's great about this country. You know, with all our warts and our foibles, but still, it's a heck of a lot farther in first place than any second place option. Only the free who are willing to fight for freedom, only the free who love liberty and love liberty enough to fight for it, put their young people in uniform and to put them at risk. Only the free can bequeath these privileges of being able to say that statement to anyone else. The free who are not willing to fight can't do that. The shackled cannot do that, definitely. Only the free who are willing to put our young people in uniform at risk to defend our way of life can bequeath this to others. And for the young people, like Sergeant Major Lowe here, and the youngsters who have just left, I met a couple of Marines who were recently back.
Tony also from the Air Force.
Air Force. These are the youngsters who allow us to make those statements. Every generation, just like you older veterans were, these young people are the ones that allow us to make the statement that that general made, that I've just repeated for you, and that I will teach my grandchildren, that they have the opportunity to say that. Because living in this country, as citizens of this country, we can bequeath it to our children. But these are the folks that allow us to do that. So my thanks to them. My thanks to all of you veterans who have served. And I know that sitting next to this veteran of the 82nd Airborne Division, I am jump qualified, but I'm not, I never was assigned to the 82nd, so in Mr. Pond's eyes, I'm still something a little less of a soldier. But but this is a little bit of in-house humor between the airborne and the rest of us. But thank you for what you do as this veterans organization here.
I have a presentation for you, but I also like to mention one person, Mr. Jeff Kwan. He's a veteran of Burma Road, and also he volunteered to be in Nevada, stand in front of Tiger Farm to let the dust all over him.
Is that right?
And the token of appreciation you come, representing you one of the historical collection of items. It's an Olympic from the first day China participated in the Olympic, all the gold champions, all the history will be here. That will be for you when you have time to enjoy the international.
Once again, you've been very generous. Thank you.
And
I'm sorry my stay is so short, but I will rival to beat Tony Principe's number of visits here, so I'll be back.
And also this is the OCA convention.
National, US, next year. No?
Yes.
This year. This year.
Yes, so again, they will be doing a special program to honor all veterans. So,
Nice to meet you.
thank you for the night. I haven't tried, I was there yesterday, but I have to leave early, so my family member was there.
It's very moving. Very moving.
Can we do this? Get one big picture, and then that's it. Okay?
One picture.
Yes, okay.